First, or number 2, public communication. We do have a written correspondence that I will pass around to you. Something I sent in, it's not actually a letter. So that was sent to us as a written correspondence. Ovid-Elsie personnel. Is there anyone here? When you went, you asked me, where are you?
Yep.
Yes.
Sorry, didn't realize it was that fast. I'm too busy thinking about what I'm going to do for my birthday. I'm going to give these to you guys. You guys take it. Wow. I'm Jason Tokar, high school principal, in case you didn't know that. I'm aware that some of you are a little newer to being board members, and you're eager to show the community that you're standing up for them and their concerns. While I'm sure they appreciate those efforts as an administrator for this district for now for 14 years, heading into my 15th year, being asked to be a leader in this district, I think it's important for me to help whenever I can. You're in the most powerful position in the district, and with that, your word means your words, actions, or lack of actions and behavior is the most subject to legal liability. When you do things at open board meetings that are not right, they can have major legal consequences for our district. As a district administrator, we get legal updates regularly from law firm to remind us of what not to do more times than they educate us on what to do. At last month's board meeting, I would just like to share a caution from what transpired and of kind of what not to do. We should never discuss any discipline related to students in our district at an open meeting unless requested to do so by the families of that student. Even referring to the discipline that occurred, if a student's identity can be inferred by our statements related to the discipline, as a district leader, we are putting our district in a situation where we could be held liable to FERPA violations if the parents of those students disciplined want to file a motion against the school. Last month specifically, board members stated the specific discipline in the sporting events that students were involved with. And those meetings are recorded, so people have access to that information if they so choose to come after the district for being unethical. One of those parents already reached out to me and asked why board members were discussing their child's discipline at a public meeting. They also asked me if board members were trying to embarrass their family name. I didn't have a response for that parent and said I would take it up with a new superintendent, or they could if they felt safe enough to do so. Moving forward, when we need to discuss student discipline, we normally go into closed session, and our admin team provides a discipline history of the students. And it's typically only during an expulsion hearing is when we would bring those. Doc Huff has been here a little longer. He can attest that whenever a student is brought before the board, we bring a full discipline hearing, to the discipline hearing, we bring a full report of that student's discipline and share it with the board for them to make their decision. In addition to potential verbal violations, it seems some of you shared that our high school administration has imposed discipline unfairly. I can assure you that is not the case. We work very hard to build relationships with our students and families, and being fair is a consistent theme in how we approach every situation. However, it does seem that some parents came to you with issues or concerns around athletics. I would like to share with you Ovid-Elsie Board of Education approved athletic handbook documents, specifically page 8 and 9 that I handed you, that identify the roles and responsibility and conflict resolution flow chart. I also shared with you the board-approved conflict resolution flow chart, resolution process, and the administrative flow chart that we're going to update this summer, obviously, as some people have changed roles in the district. I share these things because it seems as new board members, you continue to get bombarded with parent concerns. However, I, Mr. Powell, and Mr. McKinney have not been getting those complaints from those parents. Hopefully this helps you when parents are contacting you so that you can point them in the right direction. Appreciate all you do. I know your job isn't easy, but we have approved processes for how we deal with issues in the school district. You guys approved them, whether you were here when they got approved or not. That's the process the rest of us have been expected to follow and encourage our parents, our community members, and you guys to do as well. So if you get parents that have complaints about anything going on in any building, the process is pretty clear on what steps to take, step one. Thank you for your time.
Any other Ovid-Elsie personnel? Okay. All right, communication from the public. According to Board Policy 0167.3, Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on district matters. With our time limit, because it's in our policy and we want to hear from everyone, please be respectful of the 3 minutes. We'll set our timer like normal, and then just as a reminder, in case you don't hear it, I'll hit the gavel and please wrap up that thought. Let me back up, next slide. Before we call people up, we do have people who were unable to attend tonight, who wrote letters. They are with names and have been asked to be read aloud. So I'm going to read those. I do have one. I apologize. The printer gave out on the last person. I don't like to give the phone out, but otherwise we can't read them. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here today to speak in support of allowing our school's administration to coach. Some might question whether it's appropriate or effective, but the truth is our administrators bring a level of leadership, experience, and commitment that can truly benefit our teams. First, administrators are already deeply invested in our school's success. They know our students, understand our values, and care about our growth, not just academically, but personally and athletically. Who better to lead us on the field or court than someone who sees the bigger picture of our development? Second, many administrators have coaching backgrounds. They've played, coached, and led teams before. Just because they've moved into leadership roles doesn't mean they've lost that experience. If anything, they've gained even more perspective and skills that can inspire and unify a team. Third, allowing administrators to coach builds stronger relationships between students and the school leadership. It breaks down barriers and shows that our principals and deans are more than just disciplinarians. They're mentors, teammates, and supporters. Of course, balance is key. As long as they can manage their time and avoid conflicts of interest, there's no reason why their position should prevent them from contributing in this way. In the end, we all want what's best for our teams and our school. If an administrator has the passion, the experience, and the ability to make us better, why not let them? Thank you. And that letter was from Tucker Loins. Dear Ovid-Elsie School Board, I've written this letter to address a topic that directly impacts the quality of our school programs, student engagement, and community spirit, whether school administrators should be allowed to coach sports. Let me be clear, they should. First and foremost, administrators bring leadership, experience, and stability, qualities that are crucial both in the office and on the field. Their involvement in athletics provides a seamless extension of their commitment to student development, reinforcing character, discipline, and teamwork in a way that resonates beyond the classroom. Many administrators come from backgrounds in education and athletics. To deny them the opportunity to coach is to overlook a valuable asset. These individuals often have years of experience in guiding young people, managing teams, and understanding school policies, all of which directly translate to effective coaching. As with teachers, the alignment of school hours with typical athletic practice times enables anyone within the school to seamlessly integrate coaching activities into their daily routine, unlike someone with the standard 8 to 5 work schedule. Additionally, when administrators are engaged as coaches, they become more visible and accessible to students. This presence fosters stronger relationships, builds trust, and creates a school culture rooted in support and connection. Students benefit not only from skilled athletic instruction, but also from mentorship that spans both academic and extracurricular settings. Some may argue that coaching may conflict with administrative responsibilities. However, with proper time management and support, these roles can complement each other. In fact, coaching can deepen an administrator's understanding of student needs, school dynamics, and community expectations. If the administration is unable to effectively coach, it logically follows that teachers who also report upward through the chain of command would face similar challenges in providing effective coaching. Both groups operate within the same organizational framework where guidance and support flow through hierarchical reporting lines, making the capacity to coach contingent on the effectiveness of leadership at all levels. Ultimately, allowing administrators to coach is not just about filling a position. It's about enriching our school communities. It's about leveraging the full potential of dedicated professionals who are willing to give more of themselves for the benefit of our students. My passion on this topic is driven not only from having girls in this school district, but from when I had the privilege of playing college basketball, where I was fortunate to be coached by some of the most dedicated and impactful mentors I've ever encountered. Their comment, passion, and leadership left a lasting impression on me. I hadn't experienced the same level of excellence in coaching again until this past week when I had the opportunity to assist with youth camp alongside Coach Sean. His energy, professionalism, and genuine care for the young athletes reminded me of the high caliber coaching I once received. It was both inspiring and refreshing to be part of such a positive and purposeful environment. What stood out the most was the time and heart he poured into each day, something only truly great coaches do. Equal opportunity to all the participants regardless of skill level. An out-of-towner approach, which is a breath of fresh air for this school. This is a powerful reminder to all, especially those who have not volunteered their time to coach. When done well, demands far more time, energy, and emotional investment than what is reflected in a coach's salary. Coach Sean's dedication over the last 5 months to this school is something to be recognized and valued, not driven out the door. Let's not place unnecessary barriers in front of those who are eager and equipped to serve. Instead, let's embrace the strengths of our administrators, offer and allow them to lead both in the office and on the court. Thank you, Katie Pease. I did tell someone that we would set up here at a timer because some of these are really long, like somebody else was here. I just wanted to read as fast as I could, but.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen of the Board of Education, as an OE alumni, parent of 3 students attending OE, community member, and youth sports coach and volunteer, I'm ready to encourage your reconsideration of establishing an administrative coaching policy. The OE mission statement is students first, and our vision, OE area schools will foster a caring educational community that will prepare all students to contribute to a global society, are exactly what these administrators teach and embody as current and past coaches. We have had the privilege to see our oldest child coached for 3+ years by administrative staff, and I fully support continuing allow these strong leaders to coach our student athletes. As an upcoming sophomore, our oldest child has had these administrators not just as athletic coaches, but life coaches. She continues to grow as a student athlete, being held to high standards of academia, and most importantly, personal growth as a member of society. The valuable skills, abilities, athletics, and integrity that are modeled and in turn expected of her will ensure that she has the ability to enter not only secondary academia, but all adult life lessons in the workforce with a strong sense of self, ethics, and standards. So there's a policy in here, 2431, interscholastic athletics. And they reference #Next, established by Coach Sean McKinney, the newly appointed AD, is a motto and standard we should expect and demand our coaches to model to our students. These align with our very policies, mission, and vision. #Next, next play, next chapter. He believes in strong relationships as a coach, mentor first, basketball second. These are the traits we must embrace when we have the right person willing and fully able to coach to be an administrator. During the 24-25 school year, Mr. McKinney was hired as the varsity basketball coach with high expectations. He did not only meet those expectations, but also had many additional roles and responsibilities placed on his shoulders following heartbreaking events that happened within our community. He put mental health and psychological safety as a priority for students and players, gaining the respect and trust from our community, parents, students, players, staff within the first year. Mr. McKinney has proven over the last 5 months he is more than capable of balancing both his administrative responsibilities and coaching responsibilities. He has an open door policy, responds quickly, promptly with concerns of parents and coaches, and continues to reflect his commitment to putting our students first. As a small community, historically in the OE school district, we support our teachers, paras, and administrators to have the right to coach, and they have proven their ability to still fulfill their responsibilities as school administrators. If a teacher is able to complete their lesson plans, attend PD, grade papers, connect with parents, why would we not allow our superintendent, principals, and athletic directors the same opportunity? So then in here we have policy 2431, in support of MHSAA's program to strengthen sportsmanship, ethics, integrity. The board commits itself, adopt policies which reflect district's educational objectives and promote the ideals of good sportsmanship, ethics, and integrity. Establish standards for athletic participation which reinforce the concept that athletic activities are a privilege, not a right. Attend and enjoy school athletic activities, serving as a positive role model and expecting the same from parents, fans, participants, coaches, and other school personnel. Support and reward participants, coaches, school administrators. Okay. This is like a 4-page thing. But I also at the end there was a lot of highlighted things that currently has to be as well, so you can see that. Okay. Next one, I believe you actually have it in front of you because Crystal copied it for us, but I did say that I would read this letter also. So this one, I'm sorry, that one. Oh, no, it's Stephanie Lee. Sorry. Okay, this one is from Carla Perrin. I agree that a policy needs to be established to continue to allow administrators to coach. Attached, you will see a list of what has been accomplished by our current interim AD, who's also the girls varsity basketball coach, since accepting the position 4 months ago. If, after considering the community's input, you decide to abolish the ability to be an administrator and a coach, I believe it should not affect current administrators or coaches. I know they are at-will employees, but they are currently invested in the athletic program and the student athletes. In Sean McKinney's case, I am certain doing both will add to his financial stability and his longevity at Ovid-Elsie area schools. He's already proven that he can balance both jobs, so why wouldn't the district capitalize on that? This would also confirm what has been said in this situation and at several board meetings prior to when discussing other employee matters. This is not personal. So it's signed by Carla Perrin, and you can see the accomplishments for fall, winter, spring, and multiple seasons. Okay, next one. Dear board members, I'm writing to share my thoughts and concerns regarding this evening's special board meeting on the administrative coaching policy. I regret that I'm unable to attend in person as I have prior coaching commitments, and I respectfully ask that you accept my apologies for my absence. As someone born and raised in the Ovid-Elsie area, a former student and athlete, and now a parent raising 2 daughters in the district, I care deeply about the well-being and success of our schools. Over the years, I have had the privilege of coaching at various levels and have witnessed firsthand the powerful role that strong leadership and mentorship play in shaping our student athletes. Throughout my time here, I've witnessed many educators and coaches pass through our district, some truly exceptional, others less impactful. I can say without hesitation that our most recent athletic directors were among some of the best. They brought with them deep knowledge, college experience, strong leadership, and a genuine passion for mentoring kids. They weren't just respected for their positions, they were trusted, admired, and followed. They helped cultivate a competitive culture in our schools where teams have gone on to contend for championships and state titles. Their efforts didn't just elevate sports, they brought pride, energy, and unity to our entire community. Although my daughters weren't directly coached by these individuals, I would have welcomed the opportunity. I know they would have been mentored and challenged in the best way possible, both on and off the field. It's disheartening to witness the ongoing loss of talented educators, coaches, and staff from our district. This trend is not only frustrating, it's deeply concerning. While I haven't served on any coaching hiring committees, I find it hard to believe that other top-tier candidates are readily available and eager to join our district. When we're fortunate enough to have someone who truly makes a difference and is committed to investing in our kids and setting roots in our community, we should do everything we can to support and retain them, including allowing administrators to coach. If there are concerns regarding potential conflicts of interest, such as how to handle parent concerns when a coach also serves in an administrative role, those should be addressed through clear policies and well-defined reporting structures. Accountability can exist without eliminating passionate, qualified leaders from coaching roles. I urge the board to consider the long-term implications of this decision. Let us continue to empower those who are making a meaningful difference in the lives of our students. Accountability and transparency can coexist with strong leadership. Thank you for your time and consideration. Sincerely, Nathan Pease. Two more. Unfortunately, we cannot be in attendance for the special board meeting on Wednesday due to the baseball banquet. We are disappointed that the school board is attempting to prevent administrators from coaching in our school district. With the current climate, decreasing resources to our students only puts us at a greater disadvantage. Similarly to other districts, we continue to have shortages for many roles, including coaching. Please take a moment to step back and reflect on your own situation. Is the role you serve on the school board the only job you hold, or do you serve in other full-time capacities, such as a full-time employee, parent, etc.? Does this decrease your ability to provide your best and accomplish your goals? It appears that excuses are continuing to be made why quality individuals should not be able to serve in dual roles. What is the remedy if we continue this? Where do all the resources come from? How many other school districts like ours are in a similar situation? Please do your research before taking action to push another excellent person out of the district. Why would we not want an administrator who knows our students, our staff, and community to also represent us more in athletics? The chain of command and flow chart has been reviewed at a past board meeting that we attended. Is that now obsolete? We urge you to continue to request feedback from the community, talk to the students, parents, staff, and other coaches, and ask what their experiences have been with Sean McKinney. Talk to them in person so you can see their faces light up of how positive their experiences have been. Review the last 5 months that Coach McKinney has served in his interim role. Let's shift the focus back to our students and what is best for them. Thank you, Jessica and Wayne Coleman. And last one, to whom it may concern, we are both OE graduates and parents within the OE school district. We have 3 daughters who attend school here and who are all very active in sports. Over the years, we have seen some excellent teachers, staff members, and coaches put in long hours of hard work and effort, making sacrifices of their own and taking time away from their families to better our school district and our children. Some of these teachers, staff members, and coaches have had long careers at OE and made real differences in the children's lives here at OE. In more recent years, teachers, staff members, and coaches have been made to feel unwelcome and pushed out of the district. We have become a district that no longer has our children's best interest at heart. Instead, we have become one of self-interest, greed, and seeing who can be on top, especially when it comes to the school board. Has the school board forgotten what they are here to do and why they were voted in? Our school board members were not voted in to push their own agendas, but to be the voice of the district, the community, the parents, and our children. Our culture has become one that no teacher, staff member, or coach wants to be part of any longer. We have earned a bad reputation for not taking care of our own people. Let's become the school district that we once were, one of community, one that stood together, and one that was once one. We have a gentleman who is an amazing role model for our kids, puts in long hours. He is at all sporting events, participates in everything for our kids, easy to talk to and communicate with, has great ideas. And yet we want to push him away. Why? Because we have a school board who wants to make a name for themselves, who wants to make a new policy. We don't understand. If you want to make a new policy, make a new policy on how to handle conflict, if it should arise, if the AD is a coach and the AD. Fix what you think the issue is or could be. Don't chase off someone who is willing to do what needs to be done and put in the hard work for our kids and our school. Let's make this work. Let's make this work for our kids, for our school, and for our district. Let's do the right thing, and let's do it for the right reasons. Thank you, Brandon Pattison and Tammy Pattison. Now to our public communication, Danielle Campbell.
To the members of the school board, I hope this letter finds you well. I'm writing to express my strong support for allowing school administrators and teachers to serve as coaches for our student athletic and extracurricular programs. Administrators and educators bring a unique and invaluable perspective to coaching. Their daily work in the classroom equips them with deep understanding of our students' academic, emotional, and social development. When these same educators step into coaching roles, they reinforce consistent expectations, build stronger relationships with students, and extend the educational mission of the school beyond the classroom. Coaching becomes a natural expression of their commitment to the whole child. Furthermore, allowing teachers and administrators to coach fosters a deeper sense of community and school spirit. It bridges the gap between the academic and athletic spheres and encourages collaboration among staff, students, and families. This unified approach helps students feel more supported and seen in multiple areas of their life. I was like,
I know.
Additionally, many teachers and administrators are already highly qualified to coach, bring years of experience, certifications, and passions for their mentorship that benefits our youth. To restrict their involvement would be a disservice not only to these dedicated professionals, but also to the students who look up to them. While it is important to ensure that no conflict of interest or undue burden is placed on a school responsibility, these concerns can be addressed through clear guidelines and thoughtful scheduling. With proper insight and communication, the benefits far outweigh the challenges. In conclusion, I urge the board to support a policy that embraces and encourages administrators and educators to contribute their talents as coaches. Our students deserve role models who are interested in every aspect of their growth, and few are better positioned to do so than the teachers and administrators who already guide them each day. Thank you for your time and thoughtful consideration.
Thank you. Charlie Green.
So a couple of years ago, a few years ago, I was on a junior high basketball team, 7th and 8th grade. I was the 7th man on the team, so I never started. But I learned a lot from my coach. I learned a lot of things that prepared me for life. And I've had coaches like that in various capacities over the years. By the way, the number 6 guy on that team, he did okay too, Kirk Bays. So that coach had a lot of influence on our lives. And my 3 kids all came through this school and had a lot of positive experiences with coaches that prepared them for life, even some administrators. And so my challenge for you folks is simply make your decisions based on the finding the people that are going to help kids most be best prepared for life. Make that your priority. Who's going to help these kids have a good life and give them the skills that they can carry on. They learn a lot of those skills in sports. And whatever else is going on, whatever criteria, I don't understand it all, but my challenge to you is just figure it out. Figure it out. Thanks.
Thank you. Mindy Keck.
Hello and good evening, Ovid-Elsie Board of Education. My name is Mindy Keck, and I'm a parent of a sophomore and a senior. I'm here tonight because I value academics and athletics, but most importantly, because I value doing what's best for kids. Any of you who know me know that I'm a very non-confrontational person. It has to be something near and dear to my heart for me to speak in front of a crowd, and that is exactly why I'm here. I noticed on Facebook earlier this week that we are talking about administrators coach once again. At first, I questioned if it was referring to coaching administrators instead, because I thought surely this can't be a topic for debate once again. I've been a parent in this district for 12 years, and only the last 5 or 6 have I really started paying attention to high school and middle school athletics. In that time, I've noticed that some members of the Ovid-Elsie community have worked to drive out nearly every administrator that has also coached. The first one that comes to mind is Mr. Tokar, who was driven out of varsity basketball, even though he brings a lot of skill and background experience to the coaching role and also cares about our kids. Next, we had the luck of landing Jesse Johnson, an AD who was amazing for our athletic program. Outside districts were recruiting him based upon what he did for the little community of Ovid, and now he's gone. Then, somehow, we were lucky enough to hire Chris Winter, who was a phenomenal asset to our school and our athletic program. Another amazing coach and athletic director, gone. Now we have Coach McKinney, the interim athletic director and varsity girls basketball coach, who is doing really great things to build the basketball program back up. Just last week, he held basketball camp and had the varsity players helping to coach the up-and-comers. Then this week, he went right to basketball scrimmages at Cedar Point, where he is now with the varsity girls. I do find it a little convenient that this meeting was set for a time when he was out of town. I'm not sure how many of you spend time looking at school websites for coaching openings, but in my job, that's part of what I do. Match people becoming certified teachers or administrators with jobs in their region. Yesterday, I visited 25 school websites looking at job postings. Because this meeting was on my mind, I noticed that of those 25 districts, every single one of them had at least 2 coaching positions open on their website. Some had as many as 4 or 5. These are small, rural districts like Ovid, not big D1 schools. So what that tells me is that people are not lining up to coach kids, not just here, but across the state. Why are we not valuing and showing appreciation for the people who have a vested interest in our district and actually want to coach? Why are we doing the exact opposite and driving them away? I urge you, Ovid-Elsie Board of Education, to hear the public, to look at the Ovid-Elsie community page for all those commenting in support of administrators holding coaching positions who could not be here to speak tonight. We want what's best for kids. To end, please consider that there is not an abundance of coaches to coach our children. When someone in district who knows our kids, who wants what's best for our kids, wants to coach, let's not push them away. Instead, I urge you to do what's best for kids and allow our administrators to continue coaching. Thank you.
I feel like some of my comments are going to be redundant, so I'm going to try to abbreviate, so I apologize if I stumble. I'm not a basketball mom. I'm a cross-country mom, so I'm going to talk about what I know. Good evening, my name is Lena Miller. I am the mother of 3 students who currently attend Ovid-Elsie School District. My children have gone to Ovid-Elsie their entire life, giving me 12 years as a parent in the district. This is my first time speaking at a school board meeting under the public comment section, but I felt compelled to talk to you tonight to show you the example of an administrator who was also a coach and did it well. My son had an administrator as a coach for cross country over the last 2 years in the full-time position, and before that as an assistant. And it was a very positive experience. This administrator was Brian Powell. Brian seamlessly filled his responsibility as both an administrator and a coach simultaneously. To give a little bit of background on how this came to be, Brian and my son have ran cross country and track together since middle school. And it was kind of apparent through watching Brian that he was a pretty active parent. At the end of my son's freshman year and his son's sophomore, the current cross country coach resigned. And after posting the position several times, the school district was left unable to fill it. Brian, having never coached cross country or any competitive running, stepped up to fill the void, essentially, in my mind, saving that cross country program. Brian went above and beyond using additional personal time, learning the sport, and consulting with experts to figure out a training schedule for our team. I have always admired the amount of dedication and time he put into working with every single individual student to develop individual goals and help them develop a plan to achieve them. After hearing the proposed conversation about not allowing administrators to serve as coaches, I couldn't help but wonder, what would have happened if our cross-country program 2 years ago would not have been able to have been filled by an administrator? Both boys and girls cross-country have gone on to win many accolades, including conference championships and state qualifiers, but that's not the important thing. It was the relationships that Coach Powell built with those students. Teachers and administrators both work hard to build relationships with students. There are several benefits to connecting with students on a personal level. The research will show that a strong relationship with a student improves academic outcomes, it increases motivation in the classroom setting and engagement at school. It helps with behavior management issues and gives students a feeling of equality and inclusion in their community. It can even help to early identify students who are struggling academically and emotionally. Coaching is the perfect way for administrators to be able to connect with students and foster this kind of relationship. Thank you.
Michelle Moore.
Bear with me, I have a lot. I'm Michelle Moore. I'm the athletic administrative assistant as well as a parent. I'm really disappointed that I even have to write this. We're a small school district and community, and our kids deserve to have good quality coaches as well as administrators, and if that happens to be one person that excels at both, and that's exactly what our students deserve. As someone that works directly in the athletic department, I strongly feel that if the administrator has a solid support team, there should be no reason that they can't be adequately supported in being a coach as well as an administrator. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that the new athletic director will excel at coaching girls varsity basketball as well as being the AD for our district. He has a solid support system between his staff, his fellow administrators, and his assistant coach. Looking back through the years at some of the administrators that have also been varsity coaches, we've had some pretty amazing seasons. For football going to Ford Field, competitive cheer making it to state finals, girls basketball reaching quarterfinals and cross country, having successful seasons, and multiple state qualifiers. What's the common factor? Dedicated and good quality coaches that also happen to be administrators. Our students deserve to have the best. When it comes to athletics, they deserve to have a coach that is qualified and invested in the program that they're coaching. It's been said by the board that we want to do what's best for our students. By eliminating the resources for coaches is a huge disservice to them. When we post coaching positions, we don't have a huge number of applicants knocking at our door. In some cases, we've had administrators step up to coach a varsity sport because if they didn't, our kids wouldn't be able to participate. How fair is that to say to our student athletes, we have a qualified candidate, but just because they're an administrator, I'm sorry, we won't allow them to coach you, and you won't be able to participate in the sport you're passionate about because they hold that as their career. The benefit of having a school employee being fortunate enough to be able to coach students is they have a flexible schedule. They're able to see the kids daily and what they go through and form relationships with them. This may not work for coaches that work outside of a district. My frustration continues as last night I received a text message from my daughter, who is a member of the varsity girls basketball team and is currently at basketball camp with her coach and team, where she should be only focused on playing the game she loves and bonding with her teammates and having fun. But no, she's now worried about what's going to happen with her senior basketball season. So I asked her to give me her thoughts. Everyone else says that with every decision they make, their number one priority is the kids. However, it is rare that anyone ever asks what these kids think or how they might actually be affected. So I'm speaking today to offer the perspective of a player and how this decision will ultimately affect my teammates and I. My high school athletic career has been filled with many different changes. I've had 4 different basketball coaches in the span of 3 years, and as a team, we've missed out on so many experiences due to this. After a year filled with ups and downs, Coach McKinney came to the program with a newfound energy, excitement, and passion for the sport, and most importantly, the team. Coach's goal was always to win, but also to shape us into good human beings, teaching us to always leave a place better than we found it, to always show gratitude towards others and how to treat others. Personally, he has been a good role model for me and has always been there if any of us needed some advice about the game or life.
Michelle, can you try, I don't need your room, but
Yeah.
can you just try summarize
Okay.
what the rest is?
So basically, to end it, she just said people always talk about the importance of mental health. What about the mental health of an athlete that has had zero stability pertaining to her coaches throughout her high school career? She's asking the board to please put the kids first and consider how your final decision will impact us.
know me, my name is Heather Kimmel. I'm a first grade teacher here at Leonard and have 3 children in the district. We are one of the many families who relocated to this district 2 years ago and have grown to love the district and feel part of its community in a very short time. And Sean, in that very short time, has made a great impact on our students and family as well. I'm here tonight as a concerned parent regarding the decision to remove coaching duties from his role as athletic director due to concerns about time commitments and potential conflicts of interest. While I do not see the behind-the-scenes work that he does as an athletic director firsthand, I have witnessed the tremendous positive impact he has made as a coach in a very short time. Sean stepped into this program mid-year, a challenging situation, and immediately began strengthening the girls' basketball program while fostering collaboration among other coaches across all sports. My daughter and her friends have formed a strong bond with him and are genuinely excited to be coached by him as they grow older. This enthusiasm speaks volumes of the positive influence he's made on our young athletes. One of Sean's greatest strengths is how he consistently is engaged in both youth and high school girls sports through numerous events and camps. These opportunities have created excitement and a true love of the game, building a strong foundation for our program's future from the ground up. His efforts to connect with players at all levels encourage participation, growth, and a sense of community that benefit everybody. I understand that the board's concern that coaching responsibilities might detract from his administrative duties or create conflicts of interest. However, he's already proven, so I'm confused at why we're questioning this, he's already proven that he can successfully manage both roles. Many teachers balance classroom responsibilities with coaching, and their ability is never questioned. Being a small district leaves staff members wearing many hats and taking on many multiple roles to ensure that these students get a well-rounded experience academically and through extracurricular activities. And we are blessed that someone like Sean is willing to do both and go beyond the expectations. Coaches are hard to come by as it is, and great coaches like Sean are rare. A coach's impact on our children rivals that of a classroom teacher. Rather than creating policies that exclude great coaches from contributing in multiple ways, we should focus on policies that plan for and address any issues that might arise. Sean is a great example for all kids and a dedicated coach to these girls who deserve the opportunity to learn from him. We hope that you reconsider your decision to remove his coaching role. Keeping him in both positions will benefit our entire athletic program, our coaches, and most importantly, our students.
Thank you. Proclaim.
Good afternoon, fellow students, staff, and community members of the Ovid-Elsie area schools. My name is Brooke Kimmel, an upcoming 8th grader this year. I'd like to start off by saying that as a new student moving the 2023 to 2024 school year, I was beyond excited to play for Ovid-Elsie sports, including basketball. Basketball has been a big part of my life, and I truly love it. Through all my sports, I've had multiple coaches, some great and some who just stepped up when no one else would and tried their best. But Coach Sean McKinney stand out. Although he was yet to be my coach, I still consider him one because of all he's done, not just for me, but for my fellow teammates. Just seeing the success of him coaching the high school girls, I was looking forward to playing in that gym and learning from him. Coach McKinney has not only taught us skills for the game, but skills for life. He's helped me build my confidence, stay focused, and push me on and off the court. He cares deeply for his players and pushes each of us to succeed, not just in basketball, but as people. Here are a few things that he has done for us. Push each individual player to be their best, and Halls will always check up on you and grow your bond with him. Inspire people to play or continue playing basketball. Made camps, events, and challenges to help improve their skills in basketball. Invest his time with younger players, preparing them for their future. It's upsetting to hear that the school board is questioning whether he should be allowed to coach. From a student's perspective, I would like to say clearly he is a great coach. Not just because of what he knows about the game, but because of how he treats us, how he leads us, and how much he cares. Thank you for listening, and thanks to Coach McKinney for believing in us.
Karen Tuma.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to address the board and our community, and special thank you to Ms. Cadillac and Ms. Williams for posting on your school Facebook pages asking for input from the community. That was appreciated. My name is Karen Tuma. I'm a 1994 graduate of Ovid-Elsie, and I just finished my 25th year of teaching in the school district. Ovid-Elsie is my home. It's where I choose to work, raise my family, and send my girls to school. Over the last several years, I've attended many board meetings. There have been times I wanted to share my thoughts but didn't. I can no longer sit back and pray everything works out. I'm asking you to put students first and allow administrators to continue to coach at Ovid-Elsie. Katie and Brian Topping shared a document with you with 50 schools where athletic directors are also filled roles as coaches. 50 schools. Why is this even a debate at Ovid-Elsie? One concern I've heard from board members is that being an administrator is a demanding job that takes time. It's true that both administrative roles and coaching requires significant time and energy. However, we have administrators willing to take on added responsibility because they believe in the value it brings to students in the school community. When managed carefully, coaching does not detract from their primary duties. It enhances their visibility, deepens student connections, reinforces their leadership. These are the very qualities we want in our school culture. Being a teacher requires a significant amount of time and energy as well. I'm also the middle school improvement chair, middle school testing coordinator, co-chair with the special education department, mentor to 2 special education teachers. I help with scheduling at the middle school, and this past year I helped coach the middle school girls basketball team when there were 0 applicants. Is the school board concerned about my workload? And if I have the time to do my primary job on top of all the added responsibilities I have? Are you going to tell our spring coaches whose primary job is teaching, like Coach Huffnagel, Coach Lads, Coach Cassidy, Coach Lewis, and Coach Snyder, that they can't coach because it takes time out of the classroom? Based on this argument, is your next move a policy that doesn't allow teachers to coach because we carry a demanding workload as well? Another statement I've heard from board members is that it's not about Brian Powell and Sean McKinney. They have no issue with them, and it's nothing personal. It's simply about not wanting administrators to coach at Ovid-Elsie. Sean McKinney was not the only applicant interested in the athletic director position who wanted to coach. There were wrestling, cross country, track and field, and basketball coaches who wanted to coach in addition to being our athletic director. Are you going to tell my daughter, her teammates, our student athletes, our school community, that you're going to hire the 3rd or 4th best choice simply based on the reasoning that the candidate had no desire to coach? Our kids deserve the best. That should be the only agenda and the #1 priority of the students who are in the adults who are in decision-making position. As a school board, would you have been happy with your 3rd or 4th choice for superintendent? As parents, would you want your child's teacher to be the 3rd or 4th best applicant? Would you rather see a sports season canceled because the only applicant was an administrator? Put an end to this debate tonight. Give our students what they deserve and allow administrators, including our athletic director, the opportunity to coach. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Good evening. My name is Grace Toomer, and I'm an 8th grader at Ovid-Elsie Middle School. I want to speak in support of administrators being allowed to coach. Taking away administrators' ability to coach affects all of us who count on them to be there. I've been lucky enough to work with 2 administrators who are also coaches. Coach Powell sent them to be an assistant coach on the high school track team when there was not a single applicant for that job. This track season, he took the time to connect with me and offered me the tips on my shot put throw. He was also there to cheer me on and encourage me at our home meet. He was not my coach, but he still found time for me. I've also seen how much time and heart Coach McKinney puts into coaching. He cares about the girls in his program, from elementary age to high school. I know how busy he is with all of his responsibilities, but he has never made me feel like he did not have time. Being part of a team helps with more than just sports. Helps boost our confidence, strengthen our friendships, and even improve our mental health. Coach McKinney creates a space where we feel supported, encouraged, and seen. That makes a huge difference, especially with everything students go through these days. It's not easy to be a kid, which is why it's so important to have people like Coach McKinney in my corner. Every student at Ovid-Elsie deserves a chance to have him in their life, not just the girls' basketball coach. However, how lucky is Ovid-Elsie that someone like Coach McKinney wants to be our athletic director? We should be celebrating that, not arguing about it. Thank you for listening, and I hope you continue to allow administrators to coach, so Coach Powell and Coach McKinney can keep making a difference on the track, the basketball court, and in our lives. Thank you, and go Marauders.
Thank you for your time this evening. My name is Nathan Sweet, and I have 3 daughters, 1 just graduated, and 2 more that are in the school district. 2 of my daughters have benefited from having a coach who also served as an administrator. Dr. Ryan Cunningham and Mr. Jason Tokar gave my daughters an amazing experience through their hard work and dedication to basketball that is tough to be matched. While serving as administrators, they took on both the role of middle school basketball coaches as well as serving as the varsity head coach and varsity assistant. This would ensure that the skills at the middle school level would be taught the same as the kids moved into high school, thus putting students first. That's one of the many reasons why we have our daughters in this district. With a daughter going into 10th grade and another going into 6th grade, I want these same experiences for my daughters. I myself am an administrator and a coach. It works, and it makes sense. If this policy is put into place, I'm wondering, how are we putting students first? Mr. Sean McKinney has the female athletes in the school district, my daughters included, very excited about playing basketball. He puts the time and effort into getting both jobs done correctly. He is more than capable, looking at his background in coaching both college and high school levels. In his short time as interim athletic director, he has proven that he would be the best person for the job by putting the students first. According to board policies, it's written that the board has a dual responsibility for implementing statutory requirements pertaining to public education and for meeting the desires of the residents. Board members will avoid being placed in a position of conflict of interest and refrain from using their board positions for personal partisan gain. So if this is the case, I strongly urge you to follow the district's mission of students first. Make the correct decision and let administrators be coaches. Thank you for your time this evening.
Justin Moore.
Hi. Sorry. What was the, I don't go to a lot of these, but Mr. Sweet said it. What was the district's motto or something? What is it?
Students first.
Okay, students first. I'm going to finish reading what my sister said. Everyone always says that with every decision they make, their number one priority is the kids. However, it is rare that anyone ever asks what these kids think or how they might actually be affected. So I'm speaking today to offer the perspective of a player and how this decision will ultimately affect my teammates and I already said that. My high school athletic career has been filled with many different changes. I've had 4 different basketball coaches in the span of 3 years, and as a team, we've missed out on so many experiences due to this. After a year filled with ups and downs, Coach McKinney came into the program with a newfound energy, excitement, and passion for the sport, and most importantly, the team. The coach's goal wasn't always to win, but to shape us into good human beings, teaching us to leave a place better than when we found it, to always show gratitude towards others, and how to treat others. Personally, he has been a great role model for me, and has always been there if any of us needed some advice about the game of life. During our season, he was hired as the interim athletic director and was put in a position where he had to balance 2 very taxing responsibilities, and he handled it great. He was able to balance both coaching and athletics as a whole, giving his all and more to ensure that both had his undivided attention and focus in their respective times. Not once during the season did I feel like his mind was somewhere other than with the team during a practice or a game. He also supported other sports. For example, he had shown up to both home and away sporting events for multiple winter and spring sports. Coach McKinney has already been in a position where he had to balance coaching and being the athletic director. People always talk about the importance of mental health. What about the mental health of an athlete that has had 0 stability pertaining to her coaches throughout her high school career? In the year that is supposed to be the best, gets ripped away and turning into a rebuild year, because that's what happens when you get a new coach. So I'm asking the board to please put the kids first and consider how your final decision will impact us. Thank you. I also was an assistant coach to Coach McKinney last year, and I saw firsthand how he was able to handle both being a basketball coach and being an athletic director at the same time. He would manage his time well. If times needed to be where he needed to be doing something that pertained to the athletic director, he would have me start practices, things like that. Like, he's not doing it by himself. There is a team behind him that will help him succeed in both his roles. So I just want to say please think about your guys' decision and how it affects the students, like Elsie, for example. Because you know how much it means to her. Yeah, thank you.
Good evening, my name is Nicole Tokar, and I'm a proud parent of 3 children who have attended Ovid-Elsie area schools for their entire academic and athletic careers. I've been actively involved in our school community for many years as both a parent and a coach. I'm here tonight to strongly advocate, as many others, for the continued ability of our school district administrators to apply for and hold coaching positions if they so choose. In Ovid-Elsie, we do not have a deep bench of coaches just waiting to be hired. In fact, we often struggle to fill those roles. I personally coached volleyball here for 6 years. Several of your children have been on my teams. Just last year, a week before high school volleyball season started, we had a varsity coach and no one for sub-varsity positions. I stepped in along with another dedicated parent, not because I was eager to, but because my daughter and her teammates would have gone without a coach otherwise. That's the reality we're facing. Between my own 3 kids, we've had 5 different administrators coach them for a combined 9 seasons. Varsity football, varsity basketball, varsity cross country, JV basketball, and middle school basketball. And those individuals were Dr. Ryan Cunningham, Coach Longstreth, Coach Winter, Coach Tokar, and Coach Sean McKinney. Every one of those administrator coaches was professional, committed, and more than capable of balancing their responsibilities. They prioritized their duties while also building strong relationships with student athletes. And here's what the facts look like over the past 5 years at the high school level with administrators coaching or assisting my own children's teams. We've had 4 conference titles in varsity girls basketball along with a district and regional championship. We've had a district and regional titles in football, a cross-country conference championship, a cross-country state qualifier, and a 4-time state champion in pole vault. These are not just wins on paper. They're examples of incredible outcomes that come from strong leadership, support, and dedication, something our administrators and many others have clearly brought to the tables as coaches. Why in the world would we take that opportunity away from future student athletes? To say administrators shouldn't be allowed to coach is not only short-sighted, it's a disservice to our students and our district. We're in a time where there is a shortage of qualified people in education and in coaching. So why would we intentionally remove qualified, passionate, and already invested individuals from the coaching pool? We should continue to hire the most qualified and most dedicated individuals for the coaching roles, regardless of their title in the building. If that person happens to be an administrator who wants to serve our students even further, we should be thankful and supportive, not restrictive. I would really love to know the root cause of this inquiry. There's been no official community or school-wide survey that I'm aware of to gather input on this issue. How many administrators in school districts across the state also coach? For example, I work in a large school district with just shy of 1,000 students at the high school. Currently, some of our administrators coach varsity volleyball, varsity football, along with some middle school teams. I think many would be surprised how many administrators coach if that data were actually collected, which tells me the topic hasn't been properly vetted in any meaningful or transparent way. But here we are at yet another special board meeting. If we want to have a discussion, let's discuss facts, not opinions and personal agendas. Let's do what's best for our OA students and community. Thank you.
Okay, so now we're at 3, which is the whole purpose of our special board meeting. And just from listening, I kind of want to give a little background on how we got here, because I think, I don't know, I think that's really important. So for us as board members, the reason this meeting took place tonight instead of in a few days when we have a board meeting, we were given an update on chalkboard, which is something we get every couple weeks from our superintendent. And it did share with us that we were going to have a contract that was coming up on Monday. And so because we have had some discussion in the past, some discussion was already being had, we did not want to have this discussion on the same night that we were going to honor a contract. We didn't want somebody to feel that it was an attack on them. So we wanted to have this discussion so that board members were all here at the same time. And it literally is what it says, just a discussion about administration coaching, because it's something that's come up before. Clearly, everyone has a lot of different opinions, so one of the other things, so after that, what I did is I reached out to every board member, even though we're not all here, so that I kind of had an idea of where we were at, and that's what led to sitting down with Dr. Trillia and Mr. Horak and sharing some of those, and we just felt that having a discussion, just getting it out, whatever it is, and being able to hear all the sides, have community input, was the best way to move forward with this. So there was and I've heard this, so I just want to clear it up. I'm the one who set the date today, only because we had a finance committee meeting on Monday, and there was a village meeting yesterday and Tuesday. So this was not to keep anybody out of a meeting or to keep it separate from the Monday meeting, which is the next available date. So the purpose of this is for all of us to be able to talk on different questions we have, think on this. Also, I think I shared with all of you that in meeting with Dr. Trillia, I asked Mr. Horak to sit up here because he is our administrative consultant right now, but in just a couple of weeks he will be the superintendent. So this is very much impacting him as we start, and he has, after we have a little bit of discussion, he has some ideas based on concerns that have been brought forward, based on things that were shared, that he feels might be an approach that we could look at that I feel considers the concerns, but also maybe strengthens some policies. So it's just something he'll share with us, but I wanted to give us a chance to talk first. If you want.
Okay, so I just want to say that when this was brought to my attention, I do not take this duty lightly. I do like to do research, so that's what I did. I've had a lot of people on both sides of the table, a very strong opinion, not saying opposite viewpoints. Some have an opinion that administrators should coach, some people have an opinion that administrators should not coach. So I took to the internet and I looked up and I listed myself pros and cons, lots of things that were already stated out loud, so I'm just going to go through some of them. And so some of the pros would be coaches in administrative roles have deep understanding of athletic programs, challenges, dynamics. They lead to more informed decisions, stronger connections with students. Coaches help ensure that athletic programs align with schools' overall educational mission. They build strong relationships with students, parents, and the community. And then I have cons listed as both the coaching and administration roles are demanding. There's a role conflict sometimes when there might be something unethical. Coaches may perceive a bias with specific sports. May be difficult for them to objectively handle disciplinary issues involving their own teammates. A clear separation of duties to prevent lack of training. And then there was a section that, how do we get around these things that might become a conflict? How do we work through that process? So I also went through clear policies and procedures about how maybe you report to somebody else if you're, the administrator of yourself being the coach. Maybe you report to somebody else. There has to be ways to work around making sure that there's a check and balance. So then I decided, because there are definitely a lot of pros and there are some cons that are concerning to people, so I decided to reach out to Michigan School Board Association lawyer and talk to him about, what does this look like? And he says, and I think some people are unaware of this, in order for us to all to get together and brainstorm like you're taught in school, like get together in a group and brainstorm and think of ideas and talk it out, and we have to have a meeting. So with that said, he told me that it's definitely the duty of the board to get together because of the time restraints of an administrator. If the coaching conflicts with the duties of an administrator, which we asked them to upload the job descriptions, but I only see job postings, not job descriptions. So that is definitely the job of the board to have that discussion. So then I decided, how do I, so then I was like, I needed something more substantial. So I was like, I'm gonna reach out to other area superintendents. So I contacted 15 superintendents and I asked them the question, do you allow administrators to coach? Or do you have a policy related to this? So I only got a response from seven superintendents. These superintendents were from Chesaning, New Lothrop, Owasso, St. John's, Bath, PW, Ithaca, and Fowler. And this is what they exactly responded to me. Currently, no administration coaching, but no policy that would restrict it. Number 2, we have had administrators coach in the past, but it is highly discouraged as administrators have many responsibilities after the school day has ended. It would be reviewed on a position basis. We would not allow someone to be a head coach in a sport. 3, we do not have a board policy that prohibits administrators from taking on coaching roles within the district. However, in practice, this is often challenging for administrators to balance the demands of their primary responsibilities with the time commitments required for coaching, especially when considering away events and early bus departures. That said, we currently have one administrator who is coaching tennis. 4, there is no formal policy or contractual language in our admin contract stating administration cannot coach high school athletics. However, it is not something we promote or encourage given our district's enrollment size. I do not believe we have a formal policy that addresses this, and we have not had this issue during my tenure. I have heard that question was raised about maybe 8 or 10 years ago, and the decision was made that the administrator in question could not coach. In the past, we've had administrators also coach an athletic team. The decision is on a case-by-case basis, and the superintendent makes the final decision. And the last one, we follow district policy, which is listed on our website. So with that being said, I was eager to talk to the rest of the people and look at what kind of information they collected.
I think that's an interesting approach though, like when you mentioned that somebody does the case by case, for makes a final decision.
Yeah, or something. I think there was something else I read, but, it was in there, that they just don't let certain levels, you know, there's, I don't know.
Well, I mean, if there's been anyone that's here or anyone else that has contacted me, I've given them the same answer, so I'm just sharing it on the board, not that I've chatted a whole lot about it, but my stance is that I don't like that we have administration coaching. And this is not something that I've hidden. I shared this when we talked about it before, we've talked about it as a board, and my reasoning goes back to I have no high school kids, I have no affiliation with high school sports. It's only based on the experiences I've had as a board member at the table or when people call me. So limited as that may be, over the time that I've been a board member, I've had parents and students, and I'm not someone that, I don't have kids that old, so I don't have a lot of people reach out to me, but I've had them come to me when there's been a conflict of interest. There's not the chain of command, even though we have that in place. There might have been a situation that's happening and it's so far gone, but because it was an administrator and a coach and there was that intermingling part, there was nothing as a board member I could do to help. It just went by the wayside. I've had teachers reach out to me, people who have left our district, good people we've lost because of this lack of conflict or this chain of command, the dual roles, and I feel like some of the parents that have reached out, they have a hard time when they don't have someone that they can actually reach out to. When there's a principal, there's an AD, there's not a clear thing. And one question someone brought up to me when I was talking to them, listening to their point of view, because people brought up some really good points. And I'm like, well, why can't we rely on our administration to handle that? And my response was, I have relied on that for the last 9 years. We've had different superintendents, different administrators, and unfortunately, that keeps happening. Now, does it happen all the time? No. And it was mentioned tonight that we had someone, I will share, Brian Paul, I've never heard a single thing as an administrator or coach that was an issue. So I don't want to like group everybody. But every other situation, that's as a board member, what's come to me. So that's where I struggle. I know that and I've seen it over and over. If you know better, do better. But again, as people have brought up ideas, or I brought this exact conversation to Wayne and Mark, so I'm encouraged with Mark sharing some ideas on how to mitigate this, to tighten policies, to whatever it may be. If that's the best thing we can do for our kids, to stop having this happen at our board table and allow the best things, like I want to be open to thinking. We're all here to share.
Well, I agree with everybody out here, I thought. You know, I've been here 30 years, Bob Corbat was athletic director and head basketball coach. I've seen it go through all of the time. I watched where Justin had to take the 9th grade because they didn't have anybody to coach, you know, and I helped coach. I mean, and I'm not an administrator or anything, but I'm just saying we don't have enough coaches here, and we have some good coaches on it. I don't think everyone can do it, but I think certain people can do it, and I look at it like you got to give those people a chance to do it, you know. I mean, all of us have, like I said before, all of us have our jobs, yet you come here to do this. How much research, how much time did it take you to do what you did? You know, a lot. And so, but I never questioned whether you could do both of them at the same time. And I think that they have a great, you know, you think about it, a teacher, you take a teacher out of the room, you got to get a sub, so you got to pay for a sub to do it with administrator, you don't. And that will affect the way the class learns by having subs and then first having, right? I mean, I want to know where the problem is, why we came up with this in the first place. You know, what is the deal? Because I watched the Ovid-Elsie sports. I was there with Jerry Goosen. Was here all the time, and we went forward here. But I don't see this problem that everybody else seems to have, and I've been through it. I don't have any kids in it, but I've gone through it for the last 30 years. I was coaching and helping Zach when he was playing basketball and that. And we bring people from Michigan State to come and play against him, you know. And so I'm not seeing where administrators have had a problem with this at all, you know. And if we don't have a coach to do it, who are we to sit here and say that someone shouldn't get that opportunity to do it? You know, I mean, I'm so frustrated with this, you know. And I think everyone, I didn't hear one complaint about we shouldn't do it. All I heard is everyone say the same thing. And they all came here tonight, you know. If I would have seen people who said, well, we shouldn't do it, and this is why, but I don't have a good reason why we shouldn't do it.
But none of those people want to come because they're afraid of what he's going to tell you.
Trust me, we have this place packed. So I don't think people are afraid to say anything at times, you know. I think the people who are this, they're frustrated. And I dealt with that, Sean. I talked to him quite a bit just about, because I love basketball, you know, and I like coaching. And, you know, he is a sharp guy. You know, you do not want to lose someone like that. He knows basketball very well. He's very personable. He's a very nice man. You know, he's an asset. Ask the girls there. They were with him. You know, and I just think by making some policy that we aren't going to do it, you know, it's just wrong. You know, and I'd like to hear what Mark has to say on it, because he was principal at a high school over there in St. John's, he had to deal with some of this stuff, so, I don't even know if he coaches sport over there, so.
That's why he's sitting up here. I just want all of us to be able to just talk and then have him share.
But I still would like to know what really brought this up, because we've had this, I've been on the board a long time, we've had this argument with Brian, we've had it with Jason, we've had it with the people before, should they be doing it? And it's been that way for all along. So what's the cause for wanting to change, I guess? That's my question on it. Did someone do something that was wrong? I know Sean took over, I think, in January, or at the beginning of February, I don't know exactly when, and he did a good job with both, and he was a new athletic director. And now that he has the experience and knows what it is, and I know he let Justin coach, when he had other things to do in that. And it's a team aspect, and if he wants to do it and he's good at it, I think we're wrong by trying to stop it. I think it's wrong. That means Mr. Powell wouldn't do it. And I know no one would jump it for his job when he went and took it over. And so, but I'd like to hear you have to say one.
I wrote this down. I wanted to start by expressing my gratitude to everyone who contacted me personally on email. Oh, sure. Sorry.
I wanted to start by expressing my gratitude to everyone who took time to contact me personally and other board members by email, text, and phone. Your input is valuable. We board members are your voice. If we don't know your voice, we can't vote correctly. Having said that, despite all the great remarks made here tonight regarding admin publicly in comment coaching, there are just as many community members who have contacted me behind the curtains who have less favorable opinions. These are children or kids, parents, employees, and stakeholders of our district. I've asked if they would be comfortable addressing this in public, and they all said no, for the same reason. It was all for the same reason. They are afraid of the administration pursuing retaliation. They are afraid for their children getting, I guess, pinpointed. I don't know, they never really said, just their children, or their own jobs from actual employees. This really deeply saddens me. I don't know how I don't know. This isn't about a personal person. I've heard great things. I've reached out to coaches and had great feedback from their experience with Sean McKinney. So it has nothing to do with that. This is the operation of our district.
And are we able,
for me anyways, and are we able to
have
admin coaching at the same time and doing
their primary role first?
I think that in the right environment, I think everything's possible. I think it depends on the person, their workload, how they manage their workload. And I think that this is maybe better left up to the superintendent moving forward, how he would manage that if we continue to have admin coaching. And I thought about this on the way here. If we do have an admin coaching in a role, and we had a teacher come in, are they able to take over that role if they have their first opportunity, if everything is equal between coaches? Or does that admin coach have to resign before a teacher is able to apply for that position? So like if you were, we hired you, Brooke, because it's in the teacher's contract in the union that they have first opportunity to coach if everything's.
That's not.
Okay.
Coach is a seasonal,
For that one year at a time? 1 year at a time?
Yes, it is. Each
Okay.
coach really coaches 1 year at a time.
And so if a teacher wanted to apply for that, they could each year? Okay, that's
Put that, the AD express person, and we as principals do the same thing, of course.
I just was a thought that came across my.
That is not a master. Every coach, it's a seasonal thing, so if they do an excellent job in it, there's a very good probability that you're gonna do it next year also. But you always do it, take the best person for that season. And Mr. Powell, I don't know how many years he's been doing it, a few years, couple years, has been doing that. And others, not just picking up, right? No, it's a year, it's a season.
Okay. I think so.
Well, I could just ask one thing, because she says that, people don't want to show. How many people who spoke tonight, it's the first time that you ever spoke at a board meeting? Oh, raise your hand, please. Excellent. And were you nervous and worried and scared about coming up here also? And that?
I don't think
I just want to.
scared.
I just want to show that they have not come out here, they came out.
I just want to say that if we never have a discussion about anything, the pros, the cons, we never have a discussion, how do we ever get to the very best answer for our district? Do we just not ever come and have a discussion and we just, whatever somebody sits in front of us, because we might as well not sit up here if we're not able to talk things out and brainstorm and think through things. It may change people's mind. I may offer something you didn't think about. You may offer something I didn't think about. Like, I just am kind of sick of the negative narrative of asking questions and wanting to deliberate, because that's our duty and our job here, is to deliberate and talk things out. And we might not always agree. We might have to agree to disagree. But I think that doing nothing and just agreeing to one person like a dictatorship, like, here you go, do this, that's not the right thing for all of our students here either. So, I mean, there's a reason why schools have school boards.
Yeah, but there's also the fact that if we've already done this 4 other times in the 18 years I've been on this, and we've discussed it, you haven't called me up and asked me anything on this thing. I'd love to talk to you on it, but I haven't got a call. And I didn't know about this until Brooke finally talked to me. So I still don't know what the main reasons why we're having this, Why is it brought up? When I sat on these things and we've discussed this already 3 or 4 times in the past, So you
Well,
could call me and
sometimes,
ask me.
when it just takes one person to wreck something for everybody else. And that's why we have laws and we have rules and we have, that's what I think. That's why we have those things. So I don't think it's an unfair conversation.
So who wrecked it? We haven't heard any examples of anything negative being done by any of our administrators. So give us
We have to
examples.
keep this within a board discussion,
Yeah.
not be disrespectful.
The negativity starts with the board
Yeah.
for the community.
Okay, so when Brooke initially called me, I
have to admit, I was on the fence. I hadn't thought about it much, and then, as Ms. Tuma said, I did put on my school board Facebook and open for commentary. But I was very appreciative of that because I got over 30 emails and messages and some text messages within the last 24 hours. And I read each one of them and I replied to each one of them. So some common themes from those emails, and these are not my words, these are other people's words. Well, first, let me clarify. There was a general misconception that our topic of today's meeting was only about Sean McKinney. But with that said, those that talked about Sean said he's been a great in the AD role so far. And I heard from parents and some current coaches even. The coaches said that he was able to balance dual roles effectively. Kids look up to both Mr. McKinney and Mr. Powell as coaches and leaders. One person suggested that as a smaller district, it's hard to find coaches, and typically educators are the ones that do have that time because they don't work 8 to 5 like many of us do. Some parents even said that they feel kids are safer when it's a school employee coaching, and I thought that was an interesting comment. On implementing a blanket policy, folks overwhelmingly were concerned that we would lose 2 good coaches, McKinney and Powell. And then it was suggested a few times that a hard policy could deter other staff coaches from considering administrative roles because they would have to choose kind of between their passion, if you will. So I thought those were all great comments. I would be remiss if I didn't point out that overwhelmingly, and we've heard a little bit about it, many of the parents talked about the chain of command, objectivity, and accountability. They suggested instead of a policy, create a set of protocols to make sure that a dual role is being handled in a way that is productive and beneficial to our students. And I agree with that. We recognize the conflict of interest, so there needs to be appropriate checks and balances. All concerns about an admin and admin/coach combined role should be routed directly to the superintendent, and overwhelmingly there was great support for Mark's ability as he becomes superintendent. The verbiage of the chain of command and checks and balances should be made transparent on our website and everywhere we can put it, so it helps alleviate concern and parents know who to contact. I know that got passed out, but we all know how information travels, and sometimes it doesn't, unfortunately. Parents want fairness and objectivity when it comes to issues, and they don't always feel supported in making a complaint about an admin. And I thought that was interesting. So I'm kind of going the good, the bad, and the ugly. The more specific comments that to me, I've heard, we've probably all heard, at OE, with student discipline, in some cases they felt has been biased when certain administrators are involved. Related to girls basketball, how can a principal be the AD's boss by day and the AD be the principal's boss at an athletic event? Administrator coaches have demonstrated a lack of objectivity in the past, and then a few incidences were referenced, had to do with the exchange student and a uniform and inconsistent punishment for TV. Improve the integrity of either position, coach or admin, by holding people accountable. Our school admins want to hold kids accountable, but not themselves. At our previous school, this was someone who moved here, at our previous school, admins were not allowed to coach and they had to live in the district. Superintendent should do the annual review, and the superintendent should do the annual review of an administrator/coach. And I think the most striking but simple quote that I read today was, "One or two bad apples shouldn't ruin it for everyone else." So, I've talked about transparency in the past, so I'll put my cards on the table first. I'm okay with the AD. I think that's the position that probably is most likely to be in a position to coach. I'm okay with the AD, assistant principal, even the curriculum director, and even the IT director coaching. I'm not in favor of building principals coaching. They're paid large salaries for a demanding job, mostly focused on curriculum and supporting staff and all students in their building. I prefer that their focus be on a building of 150 or 300 kids versus a roster of 12. I'd like the athletic director to report directly and be accountable to the superintendent. Our athletic director should be empowered to run his or her program autonomously, all the way from buying the chalk for the fields to selecting coaches to scheduling and managing big athletic events. Just let them do their job without other interference. And then finally, before the athletic handbook comes out in July and August, I'd like to see that it includes a clear chain of command process for parents, one that incorporates and maybe clears up some of the gray areas and incorporates a new and improved process. I think Mr. McKinney and Mr. Horak can develop that together. And then finally, in looking at the job descriptions, I see some of the disciplinary actions being the responsibility of the assistant principal. But I haven't always seen that happen in practice. So I'd like to see, for consistency and fairness, a better process developed by our new superintendent. And then finally, just some words from myself. I'd like to extend my gratitude to everyone who took the time to reach out by email and private messages over the last few days. They were meaningful and engaging conversations. I gained valuable insight from parents, staff, and a few coaches, all of whom were courteous and articulate. I'm disheartened by the continued spread of false narratives about a personal agenda. I learned today that both I and another board member were specifically targeted in text messages circulating among sports parents. Speaking for myself, I am confident that those I engage with now recognize the inaccuracies they were presented. And I hope those that have shared some claims on community Facebook pages can eventually engage in mature discussions. Dialogue can be constructive and doesn't always have to be contentious. Thank you.
Mark, we would like you to stand up and you.
Yep.
I know we had this discussion with players, but
Thank you. I put together a memo to the board. This is specific to Coach McKinney. I will just mention I am not in favor of developing policy that restricts administrators. I do feel this should be on a case-by-case basis. There may be cases where I don't feel that it's a good fit. In this case, I do. And so I'd like to read this memo just out of transparency so everybody knows what it says. During the most recent varsity season, the district appointed Mr. Sean McKinney as interim athletic director. Due to the program needs and timing, he also continued serving as the head coach of the girls' varsity basketball team while fulfilling his administrative duties. As a community member at the time, I observed Mr. McKinney carry out both roles with professionalism, commitment, and effectiveness. Following a thorough hiring process that included 2 rounds of interviews, Mr. McKinney has now been recommended to be the district's permanent athletic director. Since taking on the initial role back in January, he has demonstrated strong leadership, a positive rapport with students, and a consistent presence that benefits our entire athletic program. I've been especially impressed with the respectful and encouraging relationships he builds with our student athletes. It is my professional recommendation that Mr. McKinney continue serving as head coach of the varsity girls basketball team for the 25-26 school year. Last season, he was the only candidate to apply for the position, and maintaining continuity in this role would serve our students well. As a small district, it is not uncommon for administrators to take on multiple responsibilities. Just to add a little bit, in St. John's, administrators did not coach. They weren't not allowed to coach, but they didn't coach because there was plenty of candidates. In Fowler, the athletic director was a football coach. When a qualified coach came on, he decided to step back and let that qualified candidate coach. And also the middle school principal was a football coach as well. I've been especially impressed, I'm sorry, I lost my spot already, I should have ad-libbed. Yep, okay. When an individual has both the talent and desire to contribute beyond a primary role, I believe it's important for the district to support and value that commitment. This memo outlines the potential benefits, key concerns, and a structured oversight plan to guide the continuation of this arrangement during the 25-26 school year. So these are the potential benefits that I've listed. First one is proven leadership. Mr. McKinney has already demonstrated the ability to manage both responsibilities effectively, earning the respect of staff, students, and families. Second is continuity and stability. Maintaining consistent leadership across both roles promotes a unified vision, strong program culture, and clear expectations. The third one is enhanced relationships. His direct engagement with the student athletes and the coach can deepen connections and foster a more student-centered athletic culture. Some of the concerns that we need to monitor. The first one is conflict of interest. Overseeing the program he coaches may raise questions regarding resource allocation, scheduling, or evaluations. The second is time constraints. Coaching a varsity team requires significant after-school commitments that could limit the AD's availability for other responsibilities. Next is equity and perception. It's essential to assure all coaches and programs feel supported equally. And oversight structure. Clear and consistent supervision must be in place to evaluate performance in both roles. So I would propose, and I'm not superintendent this time, but it will be July 1. So this will be a proposal that I would put forward, but it's under consideration for now. Expectations and oversight for 25-26. To ensure transparency, effectiveness, and fairness, the following measures will be implemented. Number 1, superintendent oversight. The superintendent will directly evaluate Mr. McKinney's performance in both roles. Given my past experience in evaluating the athletic director position, along with my 10 years of experience coaching girls basketball at the JV and varsity level, I feel he would benefit from an effective evaluation process. Feedback will be gathered from building administrators, coaches, and student athletes to ensure comprehensive and balanced evaluation. Number 2, a role management plan. Mr. McKinney will submit a written plan outlining how he will balance time, delegate responsibilities, and avoid potential conflicts between his coaching and administrative duties. And that's something I would obviously work together with him on. Number 3, equity safeguards. Mid-year and end-of-year reviews will examine program budgets, facility usage, scheduling, and overall support to ensure fairness across all athletic programs. And number 4, annual reassessment. This dual role arrangement will be formally reviewed at the conclusion of the 25-26 school year. The review will include performance data, stakeholder feedback, and the superintendent recommendation to determine whether the arrangement should continue or be modified. So in conclusion, Mr. McKinney has already demonstrated that he can succeed in this dual capacity, and this plan allows us to continue leveraging his leadership while maintaining strong accountability and oversight. The district remains committed to ensuring that all decisions are made in the best interest of our students, staff, and athletic programs. If the structure proves to be ineffective in the future, adjustments will be considered.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I guess my question, obviously you guys are just seeing this. Do you feel that this puts those safeguards for concerns that have been brought up? Do you feel that this does that?
I feel very positive about this plan.
Yeah, I think it's perfect.
Yeah. So then the whole point, I'm not assuming Doc's seen this, so, the whole point of this was for us to just discuss this, so we've gotten out, we've gotten community feedback, we've talked about it, we've seen Mark's oversight. It sounds like, well, we don't have to have a vote, but like, it sounds like we are,
Can we,
yes.
like make a motion for July board meeting to have this presented to us?
I don't think we have to make a motion, we can just say we're not looking at any other policy, but we would like Mark to fully develop it to be approved at the next, well, not the next, July.
Okay, in July. Yeah, obviously, as Liz, I'd have to develop with Coach McKinney. And so by July, we could have the full part with his plan as well.
What does this look like? Because it was never meant to be like specific to, we're having this discussion, it was not specific to Sean, even though this plan is specific to Sean. So what does that look like going forward? Because we're not creating a policy then, we're leaving it as is.
Right. Each case has to be considered individually because they all are different and there's different responsibilities. If it's an assistant principal, whatever their title is, there's going to need to be a team approach to it. And it's going to take, everybody contributing and, covering at different times. And that's how it's going to have to work. But I can't say that, there's one policy that will work for every administrator besides a coach. It's all individualized, and there needs to be an individual plan every time that happens.
Any other questions?
So, is that also you're going to do a plan for Brian also? It sounds like he's already got it locked down.
Being a current coach, we can look at that, but the oversight with Brian isn't, he's not the AD where he would report to himself. So, the current chain of command with that is working, so in my mind, I don't think we would need to adjust anything with that.
I thank you, Mark. Some of the concerns that you outlaid here were the similar concerns that we had, but you have a plan in place to how to mitigate those concerns. Thank you.
Okay. So then we move forward. I don't have any other new forms for additional participation, so any other matters? Okay, I'm going to take a motion for adjournment.
The motion.
And wait, I guess I did say this to you earlier because you were asking, just so it's clear, like this discussion is done. We're moving forward with this with Mark, but there's no further discussion on this administration coaching. Just so that's clear. So motion by Dr. Cobb, or by Steve, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Mice. I talked,
Thank you.